Hello, everybody. How are y'all doing today? I will probably put my avatar up because I've got a lot of like clicking around and stuff I have to do. But anyway, happy Saturday to everybody. Hey, Julie. Hey, Sassy. Hey, Sly. Hey, Clark. Hey, Clark. Sassy. Did I say you already? I think so. Cooch. Hey, Cooch. Hey, Cosmic. Hey, Grace. Let's see. I think that is everybody that's here right now. How are y'all doing? So, anyway, it's a little bit. Well, hey Miki, how are you? Hey Barbie. A little bit of a late update, but I mean, a lot has happened since the last time we talked about Astroworld. Of course, the 9-year-old little boy passed away, making the 10th victim. And before all that happened, though, there was a lot of stuff being talked about as far as the night of, and I was going to touch on that a little bit. What Travis has just been seen out golfing with like Michael Jordan and Mark Wahlberg, and also there's like some reports that he might not even be financially liable for any of this. Hey, Evolution. So I was just going to start by saying that the night of Astroworld, Drake was, I guess after Dave and Buster's, he went, and I'm sure everybody's seen this already, but for those who haven't, it's kind of weird that, and this is why I want to turn my thing off because I'm going to have to be doing a lot of looking around. That if, whatever was, oops, is that already sharing? Okay, whatever was known that day, that night, I mean, Travis was reported to have left Dave and Buster's after being told. And then, like I said, there's reports now and have been for the last week or so that Drake had went himself to a strip club after Travis had found out about it. And it's just really crazy.
That was funny.
Say thanks, Drake.
According to reports, following.
And so, yeah, he had allegedly spent $1 million that night. Hey, Teresa. Oh, you don't get all the updates? Well, good. Then some of this will be good news for you guys. But anyway, so yeah, he went to a strip club in Houston and spent $1 million or so after the fact, which is kind of crazy, given the fact of the seriousness of everything that had transpired at the festival. Also, there had been some, let me go off. Let me just turn this off really quick. Oh my gosh, why don't I have a profile picture? Anyway, because I've got to find this stuff. So there's also reports now that most of the victims passed away in like one specific area. I think this is the right one. All of the orange dots that you see are the victims that passed away. And then I think this is a picture where, yeah, this is a picture of where you can see back, there's those 3 little dots in the very top that you can see in the middle. And what happened was, I think we discussed it prior to that, that other stage, which is where the arrow is right here, that stage was priorly, had another artist there. And then since Travis was the only headliner, he went and performed at this stage here, forcing all of these people from this far left stage to rush to the right side, where again, we talked about how the stage was set up so much that it was like almost an entrapment type situation for these people. So they would have essentially come from where those trees are and around and smashed everybody in that little U-shaped corner. So, which is really crazy. And then also like that brings up like liability, a lot of people have been saying that, Shelley, that the Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson relationship is fake. All I can say about that is the only thing that leads me to think that maybe it's not is because, she was on SNL with him several weeks ago, and, you know, they did have a scene where they were kissing, and I don't know. It could be. It could be a distraction, but everybody has also been saying that that you know Kris Jenner is in crisis mode. They've got lots of stuff to sell for Christmas for Kylie and all this. But like I said, I'm also reading to you know certain articles that are saying that he might not even be totally liable for this. Um, Here is a, let me see if I can pull this up. I'm going to play a short video explaining, and this is by Yahoo News, why he might not be liable for this. Let me see. Let me get this down. I will be so happy when I get my new computer so that I can, hopefully, it'll be easier for me to manage some of this stuff. Okay. Let's see. Here is what I think this is Yahoo Finance. So sorry. This is like 4-minute video. I probably should stop in between. I don't really, again, still don't know the rules when it comes to that. We'll see.
Now facing more than 300 lawsuits following its concert earlier this month that killed 10 people. Those lawsuits combined by $1 billion. Let's bring in Yahoo Finance's Al, who's been talking to some lawyers about these lawsuits. Certainly, the legal challenges are mounting. I guess the big question wasn't financial liability.
Cover mentioned over 300 lawsuits totaling more than $3 billion. That's a lot of money. The latest one came on Thursday, a $2 billion lawsuit that was filed against Live Nation, Apple Music. Travis Scott was named in the Thursday lawsuit. There was also a suit filed earlier this week on Tuesday. And basically in that suit, they said that Travis Scott, due to his personality and his brand, his social media posts, his lyrics, his past behavior at concerts. In 2015, he was arrested at Lollapalooza after encouraging fans to jump the barricade
and like pay attention to what they say here, because what they're pointing out in this particular interview, they're like I said, they're pointing out the liability and whether or not like these, because it's been talked about nonstop about how he's been arrested before, inciting this, inciting that, the tweets that he tweeted about letting the wild ones rush the venue. All of that comes into play here, and everybody has been thinking that the past incidences will affect him legally, but according to this attorney, that might not be the case. Let's keep watching.
storm the stage. So this is seen in the past, but the attorney said that court, this also what Travis said and did that night in Astroworld. And right now, there really aren't any damning allegations against that. He would have had to specifically say something that incited or added to the violence. We don't have that at the moment. So more likely than not, he will be dismissed from this case. They said the onus could likely fall on the security company, events like Live Nation, and so on. Then there is potential for more finger pointing. They could potentially sue each other if they are found liable. Security.
It's so crazy that she says this. She says that they could potentially sue each other. I was just talking to my husband about this, and I was like, you know, as soon as this gets down to it, Travis is going to be ending up suing this person. They're going to be ending up suing each other. And this is going to get into, because now at this point, I mean, $3 billion, how much limited liability insurance will cover this? $3 billion is a lot of money. And so you're looking at all of these companies potentially facing bankruptcy if they're not able to pay these plaintiffs their money. So because it's, you know, insurance is only going to give you so much money. But let's continue to listen to what she says.
The company could say, look, we told I mean, we don't have enough bodies to cover this, but they said this is a budget and to go with this. So there's still a lot to be worked out here. There's definitely some big names. I don't think we're going to have an answer tomorrow, next week, next month, or even next year, but it's something that we're watching very closely.
Well, and Allie, let's say Travis skates from this. He doesn't have to pay a dime, wins the lawsuits. there's got to be some fallout from in his career for future events. I don't know, maybe even his record deals. Do you have a handle on that?
Yeah, it's definitely going to impact his overall brand. One of the lawyers said if he was advising a client on risk management, he would probably tell them not to book Travis as a headliner or performer because of violence that follows along with him.
I mean, think about that too. Exactly what she said. Like, think about the liability that will follow him for the rest of his life. So just let's say he doesn't, get put on, the hook for the fallout and the money personally. Like his insurance company might pay it, who knows? But forevermore, he has this liability now that's tagged to him. So I'm sure that every venue that he plays from here on out, everything that's ever done, I'm sure now like and if they do sue each other or say that, go into a lawsuit with Live Nation, I mean, think about all of the bridges that are about to be burned. If they win and if they do start pointing fingers at each other. So like I said, he will always have this dark cloud of doom over his head after all of this is said and done.
Alternatively, if he were to go and perform, the odds are that he's going to need to have insurance coverage to make sure if something like this happened again, that they were covered. And all of that additional expense and additional cost would actually come out of his pocket. So that's something that could be something that we see moving forward. Another thing you have to think about is all of these brand deals. He does have this shoe collaboration with Nike. Earlier this week, they released a statement on their website saying that they would be postponing that collection out of respect for the victims. Early 2022, there was supposed to be a collection between Travis Scott and Dior to be released. They are reportedly reevaluating that. So this is sort of a PR and marketing nightmare for these brands, but it's one of the risks that they take when they choose a celebrity to be the face of a product or be the face of a brand. So everyone is sort of trying to navigate this and figure it out as they go, but absolutely this is something that will impact Travis Scott, his career. He was sort of at the top of his game, and now that this has happened, there's going to have to be some decisions to be made moving forward.
Yeah, it's a fascinating and tragic story. Thank you for that report. Yahoo Finance's Allie Canal.
So there you go. So they're saying it's possible that
Janet here.
Sorry. I'm removing.
From
Okay.
AmeriSave. How does AmeriSave deliver such low mortgage rates time after
Sorry.
time?
That's a good question.
Okay. So what we've learned there is that, yeah, Nike stopped. We've already talked about Fortnite yanking his emote. So that's a deal with Fortnite. And, there's been recently, I think, I'm not sure if these are in addition to, but there's the 14-year-old that died. His parents are now suing for $1 million. And then there's 2 security guards that have just filed a couple days ago. Also, yeah, tech difficulties for sure. Oopsie. I got to learn this better. Hi, Kathy. But no, Sly, I have to disagree with your comment here. I'm not sure insurances will cover all this. And I mean, that's something that we really need to look into, and I need to look into. Again, I have to apologize for being so late with this. I told y'all the other day that it was because yesterday, it was just had a lot of stuff to do. Surgery and, all the other things. But anyway, I have to disagree, and I have to look into how much these insurances companies covered. I mean, the insurance coverage is not going to be $1 billion in loss. That would, I mean, you're looking at, I would have to think it would be several million, maybe dollars. And this is just speculation. And even those policies have to cost millions and millions of dollars per year. And it's not for, the coverage isn't going to cover it. I don't even think the coverage from all the entities, the security company, the EMT provider, Energy Stadium, all of these venues combined, I don't think would have a $3 billion payout policy. Everybody will have a connection and everybody's going to want to buy it and everything else from the pie. That brings another subject. Okay, so we've got all of these people. This is where and I hate to be like this. I'm a firm believer that these families and these people that were affected definitely deserve to be paid what's due for, for the pain and suffering, some physical, physical negligence, whatever. It all does need to be addressed, and these people deserve to, at the very minimum. I mean, you can't pay for somebody's life, but at the very minimum, you can pay for suffering and damages. But let's talk about the fact that there's just, how are they going to skirt around people that are joining these law firms? That if you can Google it, you can just Google Astroworld claims, and it's just like ad, all the way down Google. It's ads, but it's attorneys that have placed those ads, so that these clients just bum rush into their law firms to join these class actions and class action lawsuits. I knew this before, but I was just talking to somebody the other day, and it's absolutely true, is great for the lawyers and not so great for the plaintiffs. Oh, they do definitely need to be compensated quickly. But think about, how will these attorneys, which I hope to goodness that they have, good faith and morals, determine, I mean, because there have been, I'll try to find it really quick, interviews with some of these interviews of plaintiffs. And it was so weird. I was watching it. It was on YouTube, but I was watching it on my TV. And whoever was filming it, it was for a news station. So whoever was filming it starts, they talk about being pinned down to the concrete. They talk about being dogpiled and all this. But, one boy's wearing, let me find it. One boy's wearing ripped jeans, and his knees, bony prominences aren't scraped. And I'm not trying to say that these people and individuals aren't legitimately deservative of these claims, but what I'm saying is, how will these attorneys differentiate who's actually going in there and telling the truth versus people trying to frivolously file? So I want to pull that up really quick. So you guys, hold on. You've got to see this. And I watched the whole thing, and it's kind of lengthy. And I can't say that I was already thinking whatever, whenever I was watching this interview, but then to see the camera person zoom in on this little boy's knees and zoom in on their hands as they're describing, events that had just taken place days prior. Let me see. I don't know. I should have pulled that up. And it's probably in my history on YouTube, but I'll have to find it and then tag it in my community tab, because of course I'm not going to be able to find it. I don't even think I know how to pin anything in my community tab. But oh wait, here it is. But let me see if I can find if this will work. I just don't know if it'll show. And like I said, I'm not saying these are frivolous, and I'm sure it's not going to show the part, because it was a very lengthy interview. And this looks like it's just like a minute long or something. But you can see here. Oop. And it might just be
promoters and others involved in the Astroworld Music Festival tragedy. On behalf of Senator, our Michael Lepard live in River Oaks with a closer look at their claims tonight. Michael?
Christine, attorney Rick Ramos spoke with reporters in this building a short time ago, and the teenagers who were here talked about both the physical and emotional impact from that night. With their attorney by their side, these young people shared their experiences at the Astroworld Festival.
We went out for a good time, and obviously left with disappointment, with grief.
18-year-old Jonathan
which I
Espinosa
don't,
is from
I
Corpus
definitely don't
Christi.
dispute
And you
that.
see people on the ground, and the first thing you think is, what if that was me? How can I help?
He recalled one moment when he says the crowd got tight and security told him to put his hands on the railing and push back. But he says he was squished into a gate.
My ribs on the inside hurt bad, and even my lower back, just from our elbows and pushing and where the rail was going into.
And the reason that, and I think one of the reporters goes on to ask, I can already tell this is not going to be what I think it is, what I needed to show you guys. But one of the reporters asked the attorney, do you have the medical records from your clients? And he is like, we're going to be getting those. We'll be getting those. I'm like, what? You mean to tell me? And that was the part that kind of made me pause. I'm like, as an attorney, you didn't ask, were you seen in the hospital? If so, do you have, and maybe it takes a minute. It could also take a minute for them to have to subpoena that, whatever. But it just kind of, like I said, for the cameraman to zoom in, and some of the other kids that were sitting next to him, kind of like described, like I said, injuries that should have been somewhat visible at, somewhere. But my point in saying all that is, like, how will they redirect this to be able to prove? Because right now, as far as it seems, like, for all of the people that definitely deserved compensation, how are they going to prove people that are just going to walk up and say they didn't deserve compensation when they could have been on the total opposite side of the venue? So that's something that, yeah, exactly. And not that those people were, but that was the one interview that kind of made me go, what? Like, and it was just the way the lawyer was answering the questions, the way the children or the kids were answering the questions. And they very well may have been at the bottom of a dog pile. Who knows? But it'll be interesting to see how, and how are all these going to even be handled? Like, there's a bunch that are filed together, but there's several that are independently filed. You just go to the county clerk's whatever law website in Houston. It's Harris County, and you'll see yourself. You could just type in Live Nation. You could type in any of the defendants that have been named, and you'll see all these lawsuits that have been filed. And so I guess a lot of these people will literally file this lawsuit probably on a contingent basis with an attorney. That means it does not cost any money whatsoever. You go in, you put your name down, you say what's happened, you speak to the attorney. Sometimes it could be on the phone, sometimes it could be in office. And then based on your claim and the fact that these attorneys aren't going to require to pay anything, a lot of times they'll just be mediated and settled out of court. So that basically means that anybody that feels like it, that didn't request, I guess, I'm not sure if the refund thing on the back of the tickets, the fine print, really did come into play as being an issue with getting, having a lawsuit against Live Nation or the artist in that arbitration clause about getting a refund. I don't know if that's been for sure decided that was the truth, but it's been speculated. So that means technically, if you go up for pain and suffering, they have a way to calculate that kind of stuff, and basically people will just be getting a paycheck. So that's a damn shame. I really hope that people, as a race of humans, can collectively come together and not take advantage of this situation, and that they don't file frivolous claims for an easy paycheck. Because honestly, every bit of the money paid out needs to go to every one of these victims, these 10 people's families, you know, and the ones that have been injured, seriously injured, and even those with, that were mentally, incapacitated from seeing, being at what you think is going to be a fun event turning into a complete, nightmare. Those people, of course, and absolutely should be definitely compensated. But anybody that's trying to take advantage of this really should. I really hope there's a way. I really hope they have enough footage, of identifying factors or some way to weed out people that will be trying to take advantage of it. So, yeah, they're absolutely. I agree, and that's a shame. And that's a shame. And like, that's why these insurance companies are going to have to be working overtime trying to go through these claims. I just don't, it seems like it'd be an overwhelming and impossible situation to be able to verify all this. It's crazy. I wonder if any of the families have settled already. I doubt that. I'm not sure. I think, let's see. Because, you know, he offered for funeral money, but I don't think any of the families have accepted it. So, goodness gracious, Astroworld. If you just Google Astroworld, there's so many law. No, I don't believe anything is settled yet. That would be awful quick. Right. Absolutely. And the clauses of NDA. I wonder how those, I don't know how clauses of NDA. Do you mean between the entities of the lawsuits, or do you mean from I'm not sure what you mean. NDAs between the artist and the venue. Maybe I didn't see the first part of your statement. But yeah, it's going to be a mess, and it's going to take a long time to unravel and to actually pinpoint the people and the entities at fault for all of this. And it's, you know, really super sad for everybody involved. Like, I just still can't wrap my head around right here at the holidays, you know, you bring your little boy to a concert, and the story with that is he was on his daddy's shoulders, and his daddy passed out, and then he woke up and his little boy was gone and already at the hospital with multi-organ damage from being trampled. Dad passed out. He fell off on top of the little boy. And I mean, like I said, for the people that were being pushed and swayed and basically made into a human wave and not even being able to stop themselves from trampling on people, that has got to be gut-wrenching. So ever since the incident on the 5th, Travis has been in his house in Houston, and I think he was finally cited. I think I mentioned this earlier, over the holidays, and he was seen. Did I really not add that yet? Oh wait, hold on. For the first time with, and he was playing golf, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, there's got to be a PR team, you know, here. Not that it, I'm not, and I don't even know what is the best thing to do here. Do you stay isolated and secluded? Do you just keep on going with your life? I mean, what do you do here? What I don't really even know the question, but I don't even know how to direct that. 10 people have just died 20 days ago, or however long this wasn't that many days ago. And I'm not sure what his manager thought it would be a good idea, that, I mean, of him being for the first time pictured since the tragic incident to be with Michael Jordan and Mark Wahlberg. And this was taken at a golf course where you've got to be like this really high paying, you know, member. But yeah, and so it's just like, why? Like, I think it's too soon. What do y'all think? Do you think it's too soon? You know, like, I don't know. I think if I was one of the parents here, that I would find this as a slap in the face. I just think that, you know, reemergence after something like this has got to be a PR nightmare, but it does. It's exactly what it almost shows, is a little bit of no remorse, and it's just not a greatest look ever. I mean, it's almost a flaunt. I'm sure he didn't intend for I mean, there's no way that anybody would have intended for that picture to be taken, but who took the picture? It is too soon. I think so too. especially exactly due to the holidays. And like I said, I think that's why he finally left Houston to go back to California was for the holidays. But it's like, y'all have got a whole ass, like, I'm sure they've got more than enough entertainment on the grounds of their home to be entertained, without having to go in public and go to your expensive country club with, Michael Jordan, a big deal, and Mark Wahlberg. I think it is a slap in the face as well. So, but anyway, that's about all I have for you guys on this little update about Astroworld. Hopefully, we will find out more things soon. The autopsies still have not been released yet of any of the causes of death. I'll definitely will come back and update you guys once that's released. But I'm assuming that since it's an open investigation, until all of that is said and done, the public won't have any details regarding that. I'm sure there'll also be more lawsuits. I mean, it was just last week when I wanted to do this, that it was like a 750 and then a 2 billion. And then I'm sure it's going to get up there. And I mean, like, what is the cap here? Like, they can't just sue for all the money in the world and expect to get paid. It's going to be interesting to see how this is handled. Is this going to be a collapse of several businesses? Corporations, Energy Stadium, is this going to cost the city of Houston money? I mean, it's a very slow moving process and investigation, which I guess isn't so bad whenever you can only go on once about it in 2 weeks or twice about it in 2 weeks. But that being said, I definitely will come back and as the information progresses and we can see how long this takes or what it's going to take. And will they end up in litigation against one another, being all the moving parts of this festival? It's going to be interesting to see how it's played out and how many jobs are going to be lost in the process, layoffs. Like I said, this is going to affect many, many, many people to come. And it's unfortunate, and I really don't think Travis Scott needs to be living his best life on the golf course. I mean, that's just my opinion. So, but anyway, thank you guys all for coming. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Might pop on later, just depending what the family's doing, just to have a little chit chat. If they're still gone trying to kill this deer, then I definitely will probably pop on. Yeah, they're going to try to drag it out in the courts. Well, I think a lot of these, they're going to want to settle out of court as fast as they can, honestly. No problem. We all have a wonderful day in the rest of your weekend. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Shelley. I will talk to you guys all soon. Thanks for coming. Bye.